right. Good morning, everybody. So it was 6:13 a.m. when I started. Tuesday, July 25th, 2023. I've been walking for about an hour. I'm on my way to go do the drug test. Isn't the sky beautiful? Isn't it lovely? But um, some flashbacks and memories. Valdosta Police Department. Yesterday, when I called during the evening, to let them know, to find out, you know, when I can include my written statement, because I wanted to include my written statement. They said, oh, they don't know if it's supposed to be done before, during, or after. And that's the thing that gets me, though. When, how can you work somewhere and not know what the basic process and procedure of things are, right? And so, like I said, that was my whole point in going there, because I know that they take things and they'll make it into a big old thing, and it'll get so convoluted that the reason that you originally came to report something isn't what's on that report. You know what I'm saying? It becomes about everything except that. Okay. Now, the other thing is that recalling the conversation, with the lady on the dispatch, like I said, the way she reacted and responded made me feel like whatever was in that report, it was really incendiary. And that wouldn't even surprise me, because that's what the police do. They'll take it into something different. And what they'll do, like they say, if they see that you're a little skittish or whatever, and you're of Afro descent, they'll try to send somebody of the same caliber. This person, I guess, is not a full, I don't remember what he said, but something like he wasn't a full officer or something like that. And so with that, you have a person of brown skin, right? A male. So and a small statured male. So, and a young small statured male. So it puts you, it's an attempt to put you in a place where you feel less intimidated, you know, supposedly, right? And so everything that I asked for was not. I asked about the Citizens Academy. And he basically said, I don't know, you have to go look on the website. Everything you need is on the website. But everything I need, when I called the dispatch, they told me that I needed to go to the police department to get that information. That's where I was. I was at the police department. I asked for the information at the at the police department. They said, well, the officer doesn't have the information. You have to ask the clerk at the desk. I was right there. Why wouldn't he tell me, why wouldn't he direct me to the clerk at the desk? you know? And so on top of that, like I said, after you go through everything, and especially, depending on, their perception of you and what they take you through, by the time they've ran you through all the gamut. So there needs to be, and I'm sure people have made these, I've seen these around, police preparedness checklists. You know what I'm saying? Where before you leave, you make sure you get an incident number, the officer name, the badge number, and you put in your written statement. And I need to determine if it's before, during, or after, but it should have been done immediately. I asked to put in the written statement, and the lady wouldn't give it to me. I asked about the restraining order. She says, oh, you have to get a lawyer. You don't have to get a lawyer to get a restraining order. What the hell? But anyhow, and then the other thing I noticed is when I asked, when I asked about the Citizens Academy, what the woman said to me, and it sounded like a young lady, 20s, on the line. What she said to me was, like I said, they tell that information. Oh, dog, this light just turned colors, and now it just changed. So it doesn't even give you time to cross the street. I mean, like, wow, But it didn't give you time to cross the street. So anyhow, yeah. So she says, again, that's done. That information, you can get that. You got to come to the office to get it. I was like, I was at the office, and she was just like, oh, but the officer doesn't have the information, And I was just like, but I was at the office. And she was like, oh, and she, after talking with her a little bit, and now looking back, she was under the assumption that the officer came out to meet me somewhere. He didn't. I came to the police station. I was there. He should have directed me to the front desk. He's telling me just to Google all this stuff, which these people are not going to respond to. So, yeah. And then update on Sandra Tooley. Like I said, I see that she does a lot. and that's why I'm not hating. But she did say, "Oh, I got you," but she did not have me. And the next time she saw me, she still didn't got me. She saw me and she knew, she remembered, but she didn't say anything. You know. And then, about this ride thing, I need to make a shirt that says, "No, I do not need a ride, but please go to www." That's because people are being nosy, and it's probably talk about my financial situation and whatever, and my living status. And so people are probably just being nosy and wanting to see, and also see how they can benefit from that situation. Blah, blah, blah. And that's all it is. Because it's that one time thing where they're doing it one time to see where you live at and to share it wherever they need to share it at, right? And I know this is not another car following me, but okay. But yeah. And so that lady at the dispatch, she then says, "Oh, so that was the assumption I think she made. And that's the problem with, you have a job, and obviously the job that they have at the police dispatch, they can't ask questions and they can't give information. Oh, I'm not sure if they give that, if you're supposed to do the report, put in your input before, during, or after, you know. But if you work somewhere, I know if I work somewhere, I want to know the process. If somebody has a question, I ask the question about it so that I can learn about it. And I wouldn't mind getting a job there. And if I get fired, I'm okay, because I want to know, is that what's going on, that they're being put in this? And it probably is, because even a job that's not with the police department is like that, where you might be asking questions that's beneficial to help a customer or a client. And because it unveils the truth of how things really go, you're not going to have a job really long. But I need to see that for myself, because they're so but then you can end up in real legal trouble because now you work for the police department. But my goodness, and what she said to me, like I said, the whole direction of the conversation, she was just like, she sounded so distressed, like whatever was on that incident report, which I'm going to see after I take my drug test, right? We'll see what happens. Like I said, this has taken so much of my time. And that's why I don't do the police, and that's why I need to get my website right, because that's where I will report everything, because it doesn't do any good to report it to police. And then also, I ask about jobs everywhere, and I asked her about this. She was just like, "Oh, well, I've never done anything wrong, that I would be concerned that there would be a problem." And I said, neither have I. Is there something on that report that indicates that I have? Like what's the, what's going on? Because your tone is telling me that you're seeing something that really has got you distressed or whatever. And so then she's like, it was just a weird interaction. Like, she was saying stuff that to me you would only say if you think that those things are true, or someone has somehow alluded that something to that negative viewpoint is true. So I'm like, what is going on? You know, that's what I need to know. Like, what is going on? And then also with my quote unquote religious connects, there's something there too, like the stuff that really matters. That guy from that church asking me, that old man asking me if I have a boyfriend, and then coming up right after the other old man is following me down. Like, and then also when you're going into like the police department and things like that, they're asking questions that have nothing to do with it. All the information they need, he's asking me, where did I live before? And I'm like, what do you mean, where did I live before? So here's my driver's license. You can look up everything you need to look up about me. You know what I'm saying? But the reason that I am here is because this person is stalking me in this vehicle. I don't have any of his information. It's been like that for about 4 years, but I never paid it any attention. But the reason I'm concerned now, because normally I don't interact back, but because I was promoting my website, I interacted. And so because I interacted, that kind of alludes to that, oh, this person has the right to interact with me, But no, it was for that purpose. That purpose was not fulfilled. I have other priorities. I don't have time for that, Simple. So, yeah. Yeah, she kept saying about the ride. They don't have a ride schedule. It's not about a ride schedule. I don't need a ride schedule. I just need to know if that person's going to be in office, and by you telling me about a ride schedule, are you telling me, and I say everybody, regardless of your situation, if you are able to, go, and I know for me, the reason I didn't do it before is because it's traumatizing to me, because I know they do bad things. You know what I'm saying? Go do the Citizens Academy. If you don't have the stomach for it, you know, it's awful. I mean, I've seen reports of people that have done the Citizens Academy, and they told stories, people that were Caucasian, they tell stories of how they really do profile people, So, and with me walking around telling everybody that I'm homeless, you know what I'm saying? That is not necessarily a good look, It's a good look for me because, I want to break through that barrier. I whatever it is that I am, I have the right to absolutely be that and enjoy being whatever it is that I am in the moment that I am, learn from whatever it is that I am, and teach others in regards to whatever it is that I am. So yeah, so this is, and I feel like with the police, it's gonna be me going back there and asking those questions. It's a potential you could end up in jail just for asking, So, and that sounds far-fetched, but no, I asked for, clarification on my receipt at Piggly Wiggly. The girl didn't want to answer, felt that I didn't have a voice anyway, was about to attack me physically, and I'm sure nothing happened to her, you know. So I need guidance on how to handle these situations so that something happens. I know the process and what's supposed to happen and how it's supposed to work, but it doesn't work that way. So I need to find out, how to get those results, that I want or need, for just basic humanity, right? In other news, giving. So like yesterday, like I said, I had that interview at 1 o'clock, which resulted in this, which is great. Which, perseverance again. A lot of times I look at perseverance as just the flip side of struggle. But anyhow, what ends up happening, a lot of things happen. Again, I have to be careful. I gave out my information again because, as I was sitting there, I'm too giving. I'm gonna give you two different scenarios associated with the 1 o'clock interview that that gave this result. So the first one is that, like I said, I tried to make the call at 1 o'clock. I had to try to find somewhere quiet because I was on the street walking right back from the police department. The police department just, but it wasn't them. If I get back to the root of the issue is that, this interaction with this man. I know he had been following me around for like 4 years, right? And normally I would ignore. But at this point, I decided, hey, let me give him this card, give him, well, not a card, my little handwritten thingy, but give him, I guess a flyer is what you want to call it. Give them this and give him an opportunity, if he's trying to reach out to prove himself. But no, people are being tenacious, not because, they want to get to know you or they want to be of benefit. They're being tenacious because they think that, because you appear indigent, you're always by yourself, that you are an easy target. And if it takes 4 years for them to have something to talk about and whatever, that is what it's going to take. So I have to be careful of that. One of the things that I said that I was going to do to remedy all of that was guide everybody to the website. Now, this is where it becomes tricky, and I'm skipping over one to go to the next. So, when I found that I couldn't get reception to call, and the reason I couldn't is because the police had my phone locked, so I couldn't make any outgoing calls. It just kept saying server not ready, so I couldn't make the call. So I'm lamenting, trying, because I don't want to miss this appointment. I don't want to miss it. So I'm sending emails, leaving voicemails, all of that, right? And so there's a guy sitting on the steps, and then in the background, there's the girl that said that she was Afro-Asian, which I don't believe, and her man, which asked me if I wanted to be pleasurized. And that ended up at the church that I went to because they invited me there, but left me hanging. And I walked there, and they didn't never give me the address. I had to find it on my own. So it's just, but they're in the background. But, so then I asked the guy, I said, hey, what type of work do you do? Because, I'm like, F it. Let me find out what other people are doing, see where I can get in. And so he told me what he did, and he's a manager at a certain place. And, I've applied everywhere, probably including that place. Maybe, maybe not, though, because it's kind of far out. And, I told him what my goal was, that basically, you know, and he offered me to, apply and work there. He was like, you got me, which is true because if he's homeless or street or whatever, they typically watch out for each other. Like I said, I tried to apply to Wendy's, and this girl got it, and I was like, I applied for that a long time ago. Ain't nobody calling me back, So, that's what he said. And what I asked for, though, again with that giving, what I asked for was, hey, I really need an employment coach. So I asked him how long had he been in his job. And thankful for him to answering this, because now you answer an interview-like questions from a girl sweaty staring on the side of a building, But so, I asked him, I said, how long have you been at your job? He said he's been at his job a year. And then with the type of position that he has, I asked him, did he start out in that position or did he get promoted? He said he got promoted to that position. So what that tells me about him is that he's able to keep a job, you know. And then number two, not only is he able to keep a job, but people like him enough to let him be promoted. So that needs to be somebody that I put as a mentor for my employment counseling, because I need people to like me at my job. Now, my customers and clients like me because I'm helpful. I try to be helpful. But management and things like that, I don't even realize it. People have come to me and be like, oh, yeah, they're plotting. I never say this stuff. They're plotting on you. And, and it'll be to the point where, because I'm so positive about things, they're just like, she must really not know, so they'll come and tell me on the side. I had a couple situations, and thankful to those people, but that's a hard thing to do when you see that somebody's being targeted, and to actually say something, because you may lose your job because they see that you are associating, or they see that, the person now has awareness and they're wondering where they get it from, and you're the only person that's not actively hating on that person. So I need to be able to get around all of that. But like I said, regular employment, for an employer, or whether you're doing your own thing, you're still dealing with people. Because like I said, with these churches and different things, different perceptions. Now, I have to understand, I have a commitment to what I'm doing, but I have to understand too that you may have a commitment, but if these people, are not showing any type of investment in you, like I said, I felt bad because I didn't make that other church. Now that church only has 5 members, and I go to try to support because I like what they say they do with the prison ministry. The woman talked about a prison ministry, and speaking of which, going back to the dream vlog, I had that dream vlog, and I told you that the woman that was trying to, harm me was a light-skinned woman, looked like Dorothy Dandridge, and actually looked like this TikToker that, that is just the sweetest thing. But when I think about it, I couldn't figure out who is that person supposed to represent in my real life. And I thought about, okay, it might be this church woman, because it's similar, except, she's older. But then when I think about it, that church is a prison ministry. That older woman, she has a hatred for me. She looks almost white. And maybe in her younger days, maybe she did look like Dorothy Dandridge. But she has a hatred for me. If you saw, I showed up at the Vacation Bible School thing as a quote-unquote friend of the church. If you saw her face, she was like, you saw her face, it was murderous. If I go there like that, I might get hurt there. So it might be, the situation there. So, part of me, I was trying to figure out how should I address it, because I'm going to miss the Thursday Bible School today if I go to that function that I was talking about, right? But I still haven't prepared for it. And I realized I have even more things, and this is this Thursday, right? This is this Thursday. I have even more things that I need to prepare for my personal life, before then than I thought, which is even more, because right now, like I said, the drug testing. Then at some point I got to eat, so I have to decide, am I going to try to, I have a gift card for Chick-fil-A, but, should I try to use that to have something to eat, or should I not? Probably not. So, the drug testing, then the police department, right? And then find out about, and then that's in the police department, there's like 4 or 5 different things. Then I need to find out about the next city council meeting, right? And then I need to, I still think I need to make it down to Sandra, to the commissioners, and make her follow up. That's the thing, trying to hold people accountable, you know? So that's another one. And then, and now I'm thinking about the situation with the guy that was following me, and how right after that, another guy came right behind, and it happened to be another older gentleman, you know, and then he said he recognized me from church. And let me talk about manipulation, because that was the thing. He's trying to get me into his car. I'm not getting into nobody's car. And I got into that woman's car, and I'm so mad. I still haven't, you know, sent that thing, the link to, you know, the other design I created that kind of addressed that. But I don't think it's big enough, you know, for you to actually see, because I made it on the fly last night. It's okay, but it's not like bam in your face. It's like you have to really take the time to look, and then so I have to find a way to deal with that. And I can see right now that this hair thing is going to be a little interesting. But so yeah, so I'm going to address her on that. And then also I think I need to address, I mean, it's just so much. And then there was a woman that I met on Sunday. I didn't talk about her. It was on my, and I meant to talk about her, but I didn't. I don't know where her number is now, unfortunately. But, you know, I don't think I talked about her. I might have spoken a little bit. And I'm so hungry. I think I should get something to eat, but I'm like starving. I'm so starving to the point I can't even talk about this anymore. But I'm gonna try to finish up, because I don't want to incomplete. And I contemplate whether or not to do this, because I'm like, this is taking a lot of time. I'm gonna have a whole bunch of videos that's going nowhere. But again, I need to start filing my videos into categories. These are going into the police department, because I need people to see my interaction, my experience, and be able to have their own, you know, interaction, have their own, you know, opportunity to see somebody else's experience and make their decision, or tread lightly or carefully based on, you know, whatever my experience is. But yeah, and I think that's part of life and living. But I don't want, so going back into, you know, passion versus manipulation. I need to be careful. And what I need to do again is to guide people to the website. This guy yesterday that I started talking about and got skipped all around on subjects. You know, I'm having the situation, and it may just be this kind of population where you're giving your information, and, you know, you're really appreciating it. And one or two things going to happen depending on the person, is what I'm experiencing so far. If the person is someone that, you know, you have two types of people. Types of people that are prideful, right? And then you also have the type of people that are appreciative, like myself. The prideful people are going to be like, you know, it's going to scare them that I'm so appreciative. Like, oh my gosh, you know, maybe I should take that back, you know, if you're going to make a big deal out of it. You know, it's that thing. And then on the flip side of that, it's the people that are like, okay, that's a vulnerability. You know, she's so appreciative. Oh, you know, you're such a good person. You're so great. You know, whatever it is, I'm really attracted to you. No, nope, nope. So, you know, I need to be aware that there's two sides of that same coin. You don't want to, on the one hand, be the one that people see, you know, feels like, oh, she's too appreciative. I'm very appreciative of everything, because I have nothing, right? But on the other hand, you don't want to be like, you don't want to be like, you don't want to be like the one that's, you know, oh, this is gonna be an easy target because she's so nice, you know. So I need to, but you also don't want to turn people away. You know, you don't want, and that's one thing. I reached out to the girl that was ministering to me at the church, and when I say personally, it has nothing to do with the church. This is her personally doing her thing, right? And it's just so much. It's just so much. But right now, I'm gonna focus on the drug test, focus on the business I have to take care of when I get to the police department, focus on finding out when the next city council meeting is. And I think, based on the website, it may be this Thursday. If it is this Thursday, it's gonna be cutting it tight, because I have 1, 2, I think I have 3 appointments on Thursday. And I need to look at them because depending on how the job number 1 goes, it may run into appointment number 2, and it may run into appointment number 3, right? And then I have that little forum that I'm getting together on, and I still haven't prepared everything for that, and there's a lot that I want to do for that, but it's like I said, even today seems a whole lot because I talked about today and I got off topic, but I talked about all the things I had to do today. I think I got up to the point where I talked about the city commissioner doing this Thule, and then after that, I still need to find those pants, and I think the best, me standing around at that social service office is not doing anything. That's a waste of time. It's a big waste of time. So what I think I'm going to do after that is make my way to that thrift store, to make sure that I have the shoes. Do I have 3 appointments? Oh man, I have more appointments than that on Thursday. No, this is Wednesday. Getting the days mixed up. So okay. So I'm all right. On Thursday, I'm okay. It's cutting it real close, but I'm okay. Wednesday, which is tomorrow, there's just a lot going on. Like I said, and today, based on just the schedule that I have in mind, without me actually working on the website stuff, which I need to work on like desperately because I don't want to miss my opportunities. I have so many very few opportunities where people are willing to take me seriously or take me at all, right? So I have to make it count. But even with that, if I do all of those things, I won't get back until like 7:00 at night, for sure. And then by then, I'm gonna, want to relax for a couple of hours. So it'll probably be like 9 or 10 or maybe 11 before I even start working on that stuff. But then I'll be preparing for the next day, for the things that I plan for the next day. So I don't know how the website's gonna come into it. And then on Wednesday, oh, that is Wednesday. That is Wednesday. So it has to happen between today and tomorrow. So I have to make a choice on, on how I'm going to do that. So yeah, that's what it's looking like. So I talked about the police. I talked about my dream vlog. I forgot what the third thing was that I was supposed to talk about. Was it a job update? Well, I think I hit everything. If I didn't, I'll come back with it later. Anyways, what's up? Oh, about people and the things they say. So that ties into, like I said, what was said at the dispatch place. Like, where's all this coming from? I just called in for this purpose, but I'm getting all this, feedback that seems a little weird, it just seems weird. So, and that is not related at all to, what I called in about. And the information I'm getting is not related either because she's talking about a ride as if the person came out to me, the police officer. But no, I went to the station, so it just didn't make sense. So she's giving me information based on information she doesn't know. You know what I mean? She's giving me information based on assumptions she's making versus based on what's really needed. And that goes back to my giving thing. Are you giving based on what you're assuming someone needs versus on what they actually need? And you don't know what they actually need or want unless you ask them. And I have no traffic on my forums page. And that's where I try to get that guy, that was giving me all these compliments, to go to the page. And he's like, oh, I'm not good at computers. And I didn't want him to feel bad because the truth is you are good at so many other things, than that. And I did ask him for a lot because I asked him to be an employment counselor or people counselor so I could get success in the next position, And so you're asking him for all that, and he's offering a job, and he's offering, other things depending on dire need, So, which, there's no dire need right now. So professionally, no, right? But so, and he's professional too, seemingly, And I think the compliments he was giving, because I could almost see him smiling as he was reading my messages, I think the compliments he was giving was genuinely, sincere compliments. I think so, But then again, I'm naive, but that's what I think. That's how I feel. I could see him smiling. And I could understand that because I'm the same way. I really appreciate people, sincerely. And I think if you look at me or feel my energy, you can see that it's sincere appreciation. It's nothing else, And I think his is sincere appreciation. Now, can those things develop? into other feelings. Yeah. And that's why we have to be careful, on both sides, on the person that's needing or appreciating, and also the person that's being appreciated. You have to be careful on both sides because there's a goal that you're trying to get accomplished. And just like when you go to church and the preacher tries to get you, um, all enraptured in the sermon, like the preacher, one prayer pastor got mad because, like I said, I was listening to this guy speaking all the accolades they were giving him, and I already knew. I'm like, I went to school right by Virginia Union Theological Seminary. All those accolades don't mean what you think it means. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't, and then on top of that, I was hungry. Then on top of that, I could tell the guy was acting. Then on top of that, you know, the job thing, I had to get prepared for all that. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah. But he was just like, yeah. And, you sitting here looking serious. We're not a serious church. We're a laughing church. But it's a serious world out there. You can, present this having, which is the sales technique for everybody to think everything is perfect, but it's not. You live in a community that's not perfect. I've seen enough things in the past 24 hours prior to and after me being there because I'm putting my light in the darkness where it's most effective. But we do need to draw back. It has to be a balance. We do need to draw back and have some time for ourselves so that we can recharge. But, when are you out there? You tell a lady to look at your website, she's shopping for, $800 bags. She's not thinking about your website, So it's just, and then you have a woman that's involved in a prison ministry, but her attitude and the way that she interacts and behaves with people, dictates that, she's someone that will probably have someone falsely accused and locked up just because she don't like them. And she knows that that's all it is, and she wouldn't care, So it's just so much. And thinking about that police officer situation, and how they intentionally put a certain demographic in front of you in order. And that's why I think they make the police officer complete the report initially, is so that you'll give out more information, and it's to make you uncomfortable. The police officer there to make you uncomfortable, to ask questions that have nothing to do with what you're doing, with the reason that you came in. And then when those happen, you're like, okay, is there some suspicion of something? So then you start talking about stuff that have nothing to do with it too. And then when it looks like it's that you are not sticking to the point, the police officer is, and then they can say, well, she must be doing something bad, No, it's not that. I came in to tell you this person is stalking me, this car, over the past 4 years. I've noticed the license plate, and this is the license plate number. I want it just to be known that I've reported this in case something happens. But then they're asking me, where did you live at before? You don't need to ask me that. You have my driver's license. Just like you looked up all his information, look up all my information. My goal is only this because I have other things that I need to do with my day-to-day. I did not want to come here, did not plan to come here, but because this person does not know how to behave and wants to stalk you. Do I have an appointment at this place? I do. Is it today? No, it's not. Did I check my schedule to double check? Yeah, I believe it's on Thursday. This appointment's on Thursday. But yeah, so there's a lot, that's the reason that they make the police officer fill out the report and won't even give you your witness statement, and you're kind of in a situation where you don't know where to go because you asked for it. You never got the opportunity to do it because you're thinking, okay, they're saying that the police officer has to initiate a report. Well, you initiated it, but when am I going to put in my statement? So that's what's being combated, But I need to file all these videos into the police department folder because that's where they belong. And then also in regards to legal, maybe the truth is about being a real adult. Why is my screen so dark? I need to know. Maybe the truth is about being a real adult and actually having a cause and having a purpose and standing on truth, that there are going to be legal issues involved because there are people that are not going to like that, and they may not like it simply because they don't like anything that questions or that goes in opposition to what they've been accustomed to doing. You know, you may not have any power at all, but just the fact that you are powerless, that the perception is that you have nothing, and you dare to even question this. You know, like I said, going to that First Baptist church, they put my information down incorrectly. It affected the services that I could receive. And it also took away from my time. I had, just like I always do, a bunch of other things planned that are impacting things. I had a job fair to go to. I had a church to go to. I had so many things, you know, and it impacted that. They took my time. Not only did they take my time, I was assaulted in the process. Is anything done? No. So it's just, you know, and I don't, like I said, you know, with getting the police involved in things, you know, it's unfruitful. It takes more of your time. It gives them more work, which, you know, and now I'm going to be giving them more work because I'm coming into the office to ask all these questions that on my first visit, I had all planned out. I had it all there. It should have only taken 5 minutes for me to make my statement, me to ask, you know, what organizations or programs can I belong to that's going to help me to develop a relationship with the police department, because I understand the perception that may be because I walk a lot. And then I also, you know, offer up that I'm homeless. You know, I offer up that, you know, I shouldn't say that. And people tell me not to say it. But the thing is, it's almost like I remember I worked with this girl. She's Korean. And this was in, I think, Castleberry, Florida. She worked for this, I forget what place we were working at. You know, I've had so many jobs. I was working in some place, some office. And you know, we were all chatting. You know, it was a good mix of people, me, Black and Korean, or, you know, just superficially Black, this woman, Korean, a white person, a Hispanic person. It was a good mix of people. I think they intentionally mixed us all up like that. And I remember we were enjoying each other's company. We were just chatting it up, you know, where did you used to work? Where did you used to work? And the girl was like, you know, when it came time for the Korean girl, when it came time for the Korean girl, she says, "Oh, I used to work at." She's real deadpan about it. She said, "I used to work at Rachel's, you know, the strip club." And I was like, my jaw just hit the floor. I'm like, "What?" You know, she was just like a cocktail girl. But she said she goes ahead and puts it up because she knows people are going to talk about it anyways. So she goes ahead and puts it on the table. The woman is hilarious, and this is why I say I miss Korean culture, because there's a lot about Korean culture that I don't experience and know. That type of humor, my mom didn't have it. She probably couldn't afford it, you know. But I know that some of the Korean families that I dealt with when I was younger, it was usually the men, though, have that deadpan humor, you know. And this woman had it. And then sometimes when I watch, you know, movies and things that are current and that are Korean, you know, a lot of those women have that humor, real snarky humor. You know, I don't have any of that. My sister has a humor, but I think it's not Korean like humor. It might have a tinge of that, but her humor is crazy Black humor. But yeah, and my daddy was funny like that too. So she takes a lot of her personality from my dad. Seriously, she looks in the face. I look like my dad after he went through what he went through. My sister looked like my dad when he was younger. You know. Anyhow, I think I've talked myself to my destination. That's just wonderful. Oh, but going back to talking about the things that people say. So as I was walking, y'all saw it was pitch black. I'm gonna show y'all something. Oh, well, I guess y'all can't see it. Oh, hold on. So I like the sunset or sunrise or whatever that's kind of coming up here. Isn't that beautiful? Let me stand still so it's not shaky. But yeah, that's beautiful. And then the trees and the sun. See, I appreciate the little things. But yeah, so as I was walking in the dark, and I told y'all before, there used to be a house kind of on a corner that whenever I walked past, you know, the girl, if she saw me, she would offer me a ride. And I would always be like, no. And she respected that. Imagine that, right? She respected it. So as I was walking past the same house, um, I heard a little bit of voices or whatever. And I didn't think nothing. I smelled smoke real strong. And then it was guys, I guess, sitting in the car. And it's pitch black outside. And so then I hear, like, you know, cats. If y'all ever heard cats screaming or fighting or whatever, making out or whatever cats are doing when they scream like that, it's a jarring sound. So I hear it and I turn around because it's pitch black. And I want to make sure that there are no angry cats, you know, flying themselves in my direction, right? So I turn around. And I kind of do it once around, turn around to look. I didn't see anything. then I hear out of the corner of my ear, if there's such a thing, somebody said, I don't know what why is she twirling all around and stuff. And the guy was like, I don't know, I guess she thinks she's cute. What? I'm on my way to a drug test. No, and I said, the reason that I'm spinning around is I'm being, I've just said it loud, aware of my surroundings. There's animals screaming. I want to make sure that I'm not being attacked by any animals. Why do and people say stupid stuff like that. And then what happens is that it propagates. Just like when you're planting a seed, they plant that seed of that dumbness that, I think I'm whatever. You might think I'm cute, but no, cuteness, that's, you know, has nothing to do with my visions, my goals. If that's something that naturally occurs, yes, I'll take it. I'll take it. I'll be it. But that's not my goal. That's not my goal. It's not about that at all. It's about me taking care of getting to my next step in whatever I'm doing. And being aware of my surroundings when I can, because I want to make it there safely. And and that's why I said there's no men left as men. But then again, that's what I'm realizing is, getting better about lots of people. Told y'all how I was in that church thing the other day, First Baptist Church, trying to get food services. And, I said, hey, the person put this information, and he was there, put this information in incorrectly, they weren't listening. And, I'm trying to get that corrected. Can you correct that? Because you was here and you put it in wrong, or you told that person to put it in incorrectly, right? And the result of that, hey Raj, and the result of that was, and this is kind of, I feel this can be manipulation too. They say something to see if you respond, and then something comes. But then he puts his hands on me, the other guy that's there, after saying that, when I asked him for his name, oh, he has nothing to do with this between them. But now you're putting your hands on me. You know what I'm saying? That's not okay. And then the black lady comes in and says, well, in our church, what church you go to? In our church, we lay hands on people. What? So anyways, this person is being blocked. But everybody have a good morning. I hope you have a productive day. And peace out. Make sure, yep, he's gone. Okay.